This is Mayor Ron Anders with the Mayor's Minutes from October 20th, 2020 Auburn City Council meeting. We began the meeting during the Committee of the Whole by making 3 appointments to the Tree Commission. City Council has appointed Russell Miller, Carney Perez, and Blake Thaxton to serve a term on the Tree Commission. They will be replacing Robert Gottesman, Paul Schrantz, and James Shepard. So thank you to those 3 gentlemen for all of their efforts and time on the Tree Commission, and we look forward to working with the 3 new appointees beginning immediately on the Auburn Tree Commission. As we got into our agenda last night, I had a number of announcements I wanted to remind you of. There are so many Halloween activities that are coming up in and around our community. If you go to the city's website and look under auburnalabama.org/parks, you'll find a number of these activities. Some of them may begin this weekend, but there's a bunch of things for you to do with your family, and I encourage you to participate and have fun. I remind you that official citywide trick-or-treat is on Friday night, October the 30th, and we did that to protect you and your family. The day of Halloween is also the day of the Auburn LSU football game, and so our public safety staff will be very busy with that football game, and we believe it's in the best interest of our community to have trick-or-treat the night before. Auburn High is off that night, so they don't have a game that evening as well. And we enjoy watching the kids collect candy around town, and we encourage you to participate on that Friday night or any of the other activities that are listed. I was able to be a part of the Eagles program Zoom call last week, and what a special, unique program that is that Auburn University has started. I encourage any of you that are interested to be involved with that program as they make available higher education to students with special needs. And I applaud the folks at Auburn University and the parents and families who have helped create this program. They are also looking for job opportunities for their students around our community. So if you think you have an opportunity that fits with the people who are a part of the Eagles program, I encourage you to reach out to them and have that discussion to see if that is a good fit for you. I would like to announce that we'll be having a conversation with Miss Cynthia Boyd for the One Auburn, One Conversation. We'll be taping that next week and then putting that on the city's website in the near future. Miss Cynthia Boyd was one of the original award winners of the Mayor's Lamplighters Award that was given to her last year. She is a retired Auburn City School teacher that came to Auburn City Schools about the time that the schools were fully integrated in the early 70s. And so we look forward to visiting with Miss Boyd and asking her questions about her life and her perspective on Auburn for all the years and generations that she's lived here. I want to extend my condolences to Mayor Tommy Battle of the city of Huntsville. Yesterday, he lost his wonderful wife, Miss Eula, to cancer. She had been a retired school teacher in the city of Huntsville for over 30 years. She had actually been recognized as the Teacher of the Year. She had been very philanthropic towards the children and their educational needs in the city of Huntsville and the Madison County after she retired from teaching. And that is a big loss for the city of Huntsville and those people in North Alabama. So to Mayor Battle, our thoughts and prayers are with you and your family. And proud of Auburn High School for winning the first region championship since 2013, the first region championship since Alabama created a 7A division, and we look forward to watching the Tigers compete in the playoffs. And then finally, I'd like to thank our community for being recognized as one of the top 100 cities in the United States. That's a product of a lot of work and investment and blood, sweat, and tears. That comes from our citizens, it comes from our business community, it comes from our city staff, it comes from our school system, it comes from our industries, and it comes from Auburn University. All of us in together, and we've been recognized as one of the best in the top 100 towns, cities in our whole country. So congratulations, Auburn, and that puts more pressure on us to keep it going. So let's dig in and keep Auburn a great place to live. And on our agenda last night, we were able to recognize and have some time with Auburn SGA. Since COVID has hit at the beginning of spring break, we have not had the SGA Auburn student announcements during our meeting, and last night they came back and made some great announcements about different things that are going on with partnerships that they have with the Regions Bank, with the Chamber of Commerce, and that they had a successful heyday here recently. So our students are very important to all of us here at Auburn. It's one of the things that makes our community really, really unique, is to have 30,000 young people in and around our daily lives, and so we're happy to bring the students back into our meetings and look forward to their announcements in the future. On the consent agenda last night, we approved an alcohol license for Thai and Lao Cuisine, which is located at 203 Opelika Road. This was a restaurant at one time, so there'll be no change in the use there. We also approved a development agreement with EFA Company III, which is Donahue Ridge Phase 7. We approved a contract with Indiana Furniture for the Engineering Services Department for $71,000 for furniture and modular wall panels. We approved our annual contract with East Alabama Healthcare Authority, doing business as East Alabama EMS, and this is our emergency ambulance service. This was $375,000. Part of that contribution also is an investment in a new ambulance that they need. So we thank them for their hard work. Most days we see the ambulance come by us as they hustle to try to protect our community and protect our citizens, and so thank you to them. And it's part of what it costs to do business as a city. We share this cost with the city of Opelika and Lee County as well. We approved a contract with Madison Design and Construction at the Yarbrough Tennis Center for renovations in the office area for $47,000. We will be fully reimbursed this amount because this is office space for the Auburn University tennis team, but the city carried forth the bid and has approved the contract and will make the initial payment, and then Auburn University's athletic department will reimburse the city of Auburn for that. The City Council approved a resolution authorizing the city to retain a certain law firm to represent the city in potential litigation against contributors to the opioid addiction crisis. If you want any more further information about that, it'll be on our city's website. City Council approved an expenditure of $123,000 to purchase a Caterpillar backhoe for the Parks and Recs Department. This will replace a backhoe that has come under extensive repair the last couple of years. Under ordinances last night, we had a couple of different developments that had multiple actions, and I'll try to consolidate those. David Slocum represented VADA LLC. They brought in 156 acres, which is on North College Street, south of Sagahatchee Creek. So it's across the street from the public shopping center. Basically goes from the Cary Creek Parkway all the way up to Sagahatchee Creek. So that was a recommendation to annex, which the City Council approved. And then later on in the agenda, they wanted to rezone approximately 2.2 acres from rural to comprehensive development district, and the City Council approved that as well. So that 2.2 acres is within the 156 acres that was brought into the city. And then they wanted to rezone the remaining 154 acres from rural to development district housing, and the City Council approved that as well. And then finally there was a resolution to approve the use for the 2.2 acres, which is going to be offices right there on North College. So you've got a large piece of property that's 156 acres. Towards the front, near the roadway there at Cary Creek Parkway, they are looking to do an office complex. For the rest of the property, it would be residential. I would say in large terms, about a third of that will be utilized for residential development that will include duplexes and quadplexes. The rest of that is basically in a floodplain as it approaches the creek. So they will not be developing in that floodplain, obviously. They will create a walking trail around that floodplain. And they also will create a nice amenity for the city. Well, there'll be a part there where they will create a parking lot and a restroom where people can come and pull in and offload their kayaks or their canoes to get involved with the Blue Way that we are looking to create down Sagahatchee Creek. So this is a very strategic opportunity for us to create an entry point for our Blue Way, and we appreciate the developers offering to do that for the city. So this is a significant development that will be coming to the north side of the city of Auburn, but most of the land involved that we brought into the city and have rezoned is not going to be utilized for any type of development, whether it be residential or commercial. So there'll be a small office space right there near North College Street. There'll be some duplexes and some quadplexes. It'll be 114 units total. Once again, all that information is on the city's website. And then Brett Basquin represented EFA Company. They brought in 15.3 acres. Property is located on Cindy Lane and east of North Donahue Drive. This is the Donahue Ridge subdivision number 7 that we approved the development agreement earlier in the City Council meeting. And so they annexed that property from the county into the city, and then also it was rezoned from rural to development district housing, and so the City Council approved both of those. So this new development will constitute 51 homes. This is the 7th phase of a continued development at Donahue Ridge. Also under ordinances last night, the City Council rezoned 156 acres from Comprehensive Development District to Development District Housing. This is basically the Asheton Lakes neighborhood. Their neighborhood residents and their HOA has asked the City Council to consider doing this. And this will help them with a number of things regarding their HOA, and then obviously ways that they can control the activities in and around their neighborhood. And obviously the City Council last night took up student housing, which has been an initiative of mine as the mayor since I was elected. We created a student housing task force that met for over a year. The recommendations from the task force were given to the Planning Commission, who considered those recommendations and passed a couple of recommendations up to the City Council. So last night, Mayor Pro Tem Beth Whitting asked the City Council to divide the question, which took the two different particulars in this ordinance and divided them up into separate ordinances. So what you ended up having is you had one ordinance that discussed the urban neighborhood west, which is where the bigger, larger developments of student housing has occurred, where you're allowed to build 255 beds per acre, and the consideration was to move that density down to 170 beds per acre. I asked the City Council to please table that for 2 weeks and let us study this and make sure that that is the right number. There's been so much time that has been put into understanding student housing in our community. Once we make a decision, this is our decision, and I was just not comfortable that we were at a point where we were completely confirmed and comfortable with what that number should be. So we'll have a work session here in the near future, and we'll continue to discuss, is that number the right number for the City of Auburn? And then the second ordinance dealt with ADDUs, which is academic detached dwelling unit. That's basically these cottage type homes that you've seen come sprout up in Auburn over the last 5 to 6 years. Some of those are grouped in neighborhoods, some of those stand alone. The Planning Commission offered to the City Council to make them prohibited in the NRD and the MDRD sections of our community. Councilman Tommy Dawson offered an amendment to make those conditional in the MDRD, but to make them prohibitive in the NRD. And that's exactly what the council ended up voting on last night. And so academic detached dwelling units will be prohibited in the NRD area, but they'll be conditional. And when I say conditional, that means each time one of these projects is contemplated, it will have to go through the Planning Commission and then to the City Council to be approved before it can be built. There's a lot of information here. It is confusing. It made for a long meeting last night. I would certainly encourage you to go to the city's website and try to, if you need to understand this more, certainly call our office and ask us any questions, send us any emails if you'd like some clarification. The minutes from our meeting will be available in the very near future where you can go and read that. So we'll take up the Urban Neighborhood West deliberation on November the 3rd at our first meeting in November, and the academic detached dwelling units was disposed of last night. Under resolutions, the City Council approved a conditional use for 121 North College Fund for a general merchandise store. This is the location of the old University Inn Hotel where Quixote's Bar used to exist. That is part of a larger development, but the City Council was only considering the use of a general merchandise store. And then we also authorized the employment and the contract negotiations with Auburn's new city manager, Megan McGowan Crouch. I'm very proud to tell you that she will be the city manager of Auburn beginning February the 1st, and she will make a great city manager. It'll be my responsibility to begin negotiating with Megan her contract that the City Council has to approve in its entirety. So we'll be bringing that to the City Council hopefully in the near future. I cannot tell you exactly what meeting that will be in, but it'll be my goal to have that done before the end of the year. But we're very excited about Megan leading our city. The city manager's job is such an important job. You oversee hundreds and hundreds of employees. You answer questions for thousands and thousands of citizens, and you have partnerships with very strategic and important people here in town that our city must work with and work for. So Megan, I believe, will be an excellent city manager, and we look forward to standing alongside current city manager Jim Buston as he finishes his career all the way to January the 31st. This is Ron Anders with the Mayor's Minutes from our October 20th Auburn City Council meeting. Have a great week.